welcome to June's first week. I finished my first book, so it's time to pick a new one using my D20. But first, let's talk about the book I finished. I finished reading Vamped by David Sosnowski, and this is a story about our vampire named Martin / Marty Kowalski. He is a vampire who was turned in World War II, and as we see with many vampires, you get a little broody once you're undead, contemplating life and death and how your death has already happened. Marty's already been contemplating this for a while. He is one of a few who plan to turn the entire world into vampires, and at this point, as the book starts, that's already happened. It is a vampire-dominated world. Humans are kept in farms and raised for production of blood, but also they have a synthetic blood similar to like a true blood that they can survive off of. So he refers to vampires who were turned after the vampires have become the dominant species. These are bottle-fed vampires, which means they've never had to go through a hunt. They don't know what real blood tastes like. And so Marty is contemplating life. He doesn't really see the purpose at this point. And so this is when I will put in trigger warning and content warning for this book. There is talk of suicide. There's also talk of eating disorders, rape, and also pedophiles. So if any of that is triggering to you, I don't recommend this, as it does kind of take a humorous, not like a humorous side of these things, but it is not handled in a positive way, I guess. Like, it's not really talked about. It's kind of just stuff that is happening. So our story follows Marty as he is looking for something to make his life meaningful, and he finds this in little tiny Azuzu Trooper, who is around 5 or 6 years old when he finds her after her mother has been murdered. She and her mother escaped the farm, and they were living in the woods, and her mother got killed, unfortunately, and Marty happens to find Azuzu, and his plan is that he wants to eat her, but her adrenaline has kind of worn off. He feels that she's too saturated and that he wants to like let her calm down and then kind of strike that fear into her, because the adrenaline rush of a human is what tastes good. And yet very quickly he kind of just starts raising her. It doesn't ever seem to be like a cognitive thing that he wants to do. It just happens. Like, he goes from wanting to keep her alive for a little bit to really instill that fear in her to just raising her as his own daughter. So it's a very cute story in the end, although it does have some surrounding issues in it. And the excerpt that I found 3 that I'd like to talk about. The first one is as we're going through this story of him and Azuzu, we're also getting background on like how he was turned and how did he start turning the others in the world. Like, how does it become a world dominated by vampires? So here is a little section about how that happened. Perhaps I should back up all the way back to before. It all started because the strippers weren't cutting it. I mean, they were good. They worked their little fangs off to drum up recruits for the benevolent vampires, but we were still miles away from reaching critical mass. We needed something big, something to push us over the tipping point. And so I had this great idea. Here I was, living in the home state of Henry Ford, father of mass production. What the benevolent vampires needed was a way to vamp en masse, to give up on the onesies and go straight to the hundredsies. So I got myself a job with the local blood bank and slipped a little bit of me into every pint. I just didn't think it all the way through. I survived a mentorless vamping. Why wouldn't they? Seems I conveniently forgot that I was actually present and witnessed my vamping, got winked at by the vamping party, and even bonsoired. I conveniently forgot about our little mortar-lit game of charades out there in the middle of World War II. Sure, I didn't get mentored much, but the most important stuff had been passed along with whatever it is in our blood that does this to us. I remember waking up that first night into my great idea. The air stinking with the smell of combusted hemophiliacs, smoldering hospitals and homes and apartment buildings, sirens wailing wearily in the distance, lawns and sidewalks scorched with the silhouettes of fallen bodies, city garbage trucks on overtime, beeping and clattering with the leftover bones. All the TVs and all the bars, diners, and department stores are turned to the news, with some actual footage of flameouts, played in slow motion, zoomed in, digitally enhanced, trying to pinpoint the point of ignition. Is that smoke or just a shadow? Other stations are interviewing witnesses and loved ones, showing faces in profile, sunburned on one side, pale on the other, or unwrapping bandaged hands to reveal blistered palms that had held on for just a bit too long. Everyone thinks it's the end of the world, and it was supposed to be, but I got it wrong. So a little humorous, you kind of get an idea of what the tone is like. There are no qualms about the fact that these are humans dying. It's just what happens when you're a vampire. You're okay with it. And it is supposed to be a humorous book. That's why I mentioned the trigger warnings, because they are kind of in a humorous way. All right, second excerpt. Further in, he's raised Azuzu for quite a while, and he's realizing that, Azuzu doesn't have any socialization. She doesn't ever get to leave the house because she can only go out in the daytime. And so he has this great plan to solve that. A vacation. That's what we need. A vacation from everything. A vacation from our lives, this place, this routine, someplace totally different where we're not known, where I wouldn't have to worry about germs, someplace where it would be possible for Azuzu to pass, someplace like Fairbanks, Alaska. I've picked up the brochures. Fairbanks is the vampire's Miami. During the winter, the sun barely pokes its head above the horizon for maybe 3-4 hours a day. The rest is glorious night, with stars everywhere and auroras hanging overhead like the ghosts of rainbows. During the winter, the night air fills with the whoops and giggles of vampires living it up, way, way up past their astronomically imposed bedtime. Say yes to Fairbanks, the brochure says, for moonlight, midnight, and more. One of those mores is the fog. At 40 degrees below zero, the temperature difference between the land and the surrounding air makes the entire landscape steam like an ice cube tray fresh from the freezer. The ice fog gets so thick, sometimes even vampire eyes can't see 2 feet in front of them. It's like how I used to imagine purgatory, a place teeming with the souls of the almost lost, each seemingly alone in the crowd, individually wrapped in swirls of blinding perpetual fog. I've always liked that idea, the idea of being able to disappear with just a few steps in any direction, and with Azuzu in my life, I like it even more. Hold my hand, follow me, poof. Another more is coats. In Alaska, even vampires need something to keep them warm. It's not that we'll feel cold otherwise, just the opposite. We won't feel anything. We won't notice that our blood is slowly turning to slush in our veins. It's like the frog in the boiling water. If you toss a frog in boiling water, it'll thrash about trying to escape. But if you put it in cold water and raise the temperature slowly, it'll just sit there, letting you cook its brain. They're wired, these coats that we can wear in Alaska. That's because we don't have any body heat that can be trapped to make a regular coat work. Trying to keep us warm without a little electrical help is like trying to heat a rock by wrapping it in a blanket. On the plus side, being wired for heat lets us see our own breath again. It's a little thing, this breathing stream, but it's one of these things that became a symbol of our being alive. Back before we were simply not dead. Seeing your own breath again for a vampire is like some old guy's first hit of Viagra. So let's add it up. Easy invisibility, coats and fog, breath no longer causes for suspicion, plus an average outside temperature that kills more germs than Listerine ever did back before everybody's breath smelled like a rusty old can. Yep, I'm thinking vacation. That's what Azuzu and I need, a vacation from everything. I really like this scene because, and this scene's actually in Alaska, because it feels like a world that is lived in. It feels like a world that this author has really considered, like how would you make it, like what would it be like for a vampire to raise a mortal? And this is just one of those scenes that make me really think that he spent some time figuring this out. This is a book that is just telling the story of him raising a daughter. There's not much that necessarily happens. It's just a lot of like problem solving for raising a mortal in a vampire world. But it's also a sweet book about, it's also a kind of sweet book about a father raising a daughter. And the next scene is kind of about that. So let's see. Stalling for time, I pick up the Merc, consult it, study it, tap my chin as if pondering my little girl's diagnosis. Maybe, I say, slowly, maybe there's another explanation. Zuzu has apparently anticipated this. She snatches the book from my hand and flips to the section on hemorrhagic fever. She hands it back. Yeah, I say, that's a good one too, but I close the book and return it to the sink counter. On second thought, I place the book on the floor and rest a foot on top. I'm thinking it could be something that's not so rare? No. Contagious? No. I lock my eyes on her eyes so she can take whatever reassurance she needs from them. Fatal, I say. I don't think this is fatal, which isn't strictly true, of course. Puberty is a sign of growing up, and growing up is a terminal condition if left unchecked. Still, the point is, I'm not expecting her to drop dead within the next 48 hours or so. I decided to take a different approach. Do you know where babies come from? I ask. The look this question gets is not the one I expected. I expected either a smirk or embarrassment or blank, blinking innocence. I didn't expect a look of horror mixed with a clear sense of betrayal. Still, wearing that look, Zuzu nods her head, grimly, indicating that yes, she does know where babies come from. The farm, she says. Oh my God, I can see the gears working in her head, the shocking ahas she's coming to about why I took her in the first place and why I haven't killed her, at least not yet. I feel sick. I feel sick and I want to cry. The crying blood at the moment isn't exactly going to help matters. All I can do is say, no. All I can do is shake my head as vigorously as possible. No, 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 no. All I can do is throw up my hands, twin stop signs. That's not it at all. The look on her face says, bullshit. The look on her face says, convince me, motherfucker. Have you ever heard of a period? You mean like a question mark? She says, but without the squiggly thing? She draws an S or snake in the air. No, a woman's period. Her time of the month. Getting a visit from Aunt Flo? None of these words are making sense in the combinations I'm using, and the way I'm stringing them together. And why should they? Vampire women don't have periods. Zuzu herself was too young for the information when she was still living with the only woman in her experience prone to such monthly visits. The only chance of something like this being mentioned on TV would be in a period piece. But period dramatizations on vampire TV veer away from that subject matter just as rapidly as regular TV did, before the change. Sure, menstruation means blood, but more than that, it means reproduction, and that means it's just another reminder of the thing we've given up to live forever. So I like this scene because it shows Marty as a father, and as a father of a teenage girl, and as a father of a teenage girl who has never had to have the talk with her. Also, how do you live with that? Like, as a vampire, what do you do when your mortal daughter starts her period? I don't know, but it's a cute book. It took me a little bit longer to read it than I thought it would, but I give it 4 stars. It's not like the best thing I've ever read. I gave it 5 stars previously, but I think that was like based on my recollection and not after having recently read it. It was cute. If you're into this sort of thing, it's an adult book, so it has adult language and stuff like that, but it is humorous. And yeah, so that's Vamped. All right, so on to my next plan. I have been choosing books off of my 20 book list to read for the Hogsmeade Readathon starting on June 22nd. So hopefully I don't roll one that I've chosen for one of those prompts, but we'll see. Let's find out. I've got my books and my die. Let's roll and see what I get. 7. One Was Lost by Natalie Richards. Sounds good. All right, so I'm here with June's second book, One Was Lost by Natalie D. Richards. This was a YA thriller chosen by my D20 die, and it is interesting. It's really quick. I read it in just over a day. Each chapter ends on a cliffhanger, which is why you just want to keep going and get through and see what is the answer to the mystery. These kids wake up on a senior trip camping with their teachers, and they have been drugged, and they have words written on them that may or may not identify some character flaw or character attribute of themselves. And they have to figure out what's going on, how are they getting out of the woods, what happened to their other teacher and peers that were left on the other side of the river when the flash flood occurred, and how are they gonna get through the woods with a drug teacher who cannot wake up. I only have one excerpt for this because I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to spoil anything. And a lot of it is the same, where it's a lot of arguing about what they're going to do, who is doing this, what's happening, why might they be targeted. It's just a lot of arguing. So I'm going to read one scene from it, but it's kind of like that throughout. There's a lot of tension, a lot of mystery, and it also does get wrapped up. Does it get wrapped up the way you'd want it to? I mean, that depends on the reader, but let's see what the excerpt was. So we have 4 students. Their teacher is not conscious right now. Deceptive, damaged, dangerous. He shakes his longish hair out of his eyes. The 3 of us were found lacking, but you weren't. Your word makes it sound like you're chosen or special. It's true, Emily says, but she doesn't look at me. She looks right past us, her eyes so cloudy. I can't tell if she's seeing anything at all. These could be random, I say. Think about it. Everyone's damaged, right? Everyone lies now and then. So someone just happened upon us and spent God knows how long destroying our crap and inking these words onto our wrists? Jude asks, obviously not buying it. No, the words fit. This isn't random. Why not, I ask, because I don't want to be chosen or special. I still want to believe it's nonsense. Because you have a secret? Who doesn't? His face shudders. Don't start with me. Don't bite my head off, I'm just asking. Lucas rolls his eyes. Ignore him. He obviously wants the damn primetime interview about it, like anyone gives 2 craps. For people who don't care, you're all pretty obsessed with figuring me out, Jude says. We're not obsessed, Emily says. Her focus is sharp now, slicing away at the attitude Jude's wearing like a second skin. Please, Jude says. People watch me constantly. They've always watched. Lucas throws up his hands. What people? Don't be obtuse, Jude bumps his chin. A black kid with 2 white dads, and you think people don't ask questions? Everybody has always wondered about me. I couldn't pick between a pink or blue crayon in preschool without someone making a tick mark in a book somewhere. I furrow my brow. What book? All right, so it's a lot of arguing. Again, why is this happening? They don't know each other. It's kind of like the Breakfast Club. They're all like from very different walks of life. It is very inclusive. Black boy with 2 dads. Our main character, Sarah, is Lebanese and comes from a single family household. And we learn a little bit about Emily. Not that much backstory on her, but she seems to come from a pretty hard life. So all in all, I'd say this is probably a 3-star read. No, okay, I'm gonna say it's a 4-star read. It was really engaging. It kept me wanting to know what was going to happen. The ending wasn't great, but I think it was pretty good. It wasn't what I was expecting, but based on the information that we had, it makes sense who ends up being involved in this. I did find it a little annoying that they did spend the whole time arguing and less time trying to figure out how to get out of their situation, but they had some good reasons in that they had a teacher who they wanted to bring with them. And as a teacher, hey, kids, thanks for looking out. Like, I appreciate that. That's awesome. But also, save yourselves, kids. What are you doing? Like, just move. If you're dead, we're all dead. Come on. What are you thinking? All right. So I'd say 4-star read. Pick it up. I'd definitely check out more from this author. She seems to be known for her YA thrillers. And this is definitely one that's going into my library in my classroom. So on to book 3 of June. I did pick my TBR for Hogsmeade Readathon, but I don't know if I'm going to tell you what that is right now. It might be next week's video. So if I pick something that is going to be read in Hogsmeade Readathon, then I will just have to re-roll my die. Let's find out what book 3 is going to be. All right, book number 3 for June. Oh no! Not again. Number 10. How to Make Friends with Demons by Graham Joyce. Okay, interesting. We'll see what that looks like. Okay, so spoilers ahead. This is the June Owlcrate box that we are unboxing. This month's theme is Rebels with a Cause. Move all our squiggly worms and find our pin. It looks like a sort of crystal, and it's got glitter on it. Cute. All right. Oh, okay. Something clattery. Let's see. A canvas bag says, so long as you fight the darkness, you stand in the light. Sabata here. The Ember and the Ashes theme. Uh-oh. Oh, there are a bunch of metal straws. Very cool. Bendy ones and straight ones. Cool. Never have too many reusable straws. Save the sea turtles. All right. An Owlcrate exclusive from Juniper and Ivy Designs. Never allow yourself to believe you should be silent. That's a really good quote for these times, aren't they? And it looks like it's a big magnet. Oh, this is the kitchen item that Corinna must have been talking about. May the stars keep you steady and the iron keep you safe. Pot holders. Very cute. Corinna was very excited about all the kitchen items that she's been putting in these. We got some stickers. Looks like they are, well, I know this one down here is from Handmaid's Tale. Big stickers. Those are cool. Resist stickers, looks like. Okay. In an effort to get your Owlcrate box delivered to you as soon as possible, we made a decision not to wrap your book in plastic this month. Okay, good to know. So let's see what our book is then. Oh, that's right. It's a 2-book month. I forgot. And one of them's a graphic novel. So here's our first book. What does that say? I can't even read it. Oh, witchy. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I couldn't read the bottom there. That looked different. Witchy graphic novel. And it has pretty cute artwork in here. Book number 1 and book number 2. Okay, let's get it out of here without bending it since it's not wrapped in plastic. Oh no. Ah. Pull that back in there. It is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. And I love this. On the back it says, I am Renata Convida. I love the name Renata. That's fun. That's the Worst Bestsellers host name. Oh, look at that too. Beautiful orange inside. What a cute cover. Very nice. Let's see if there's any special stuff. No, that's okay. You never know when they're going to sneak in some extra special stuff on the covers of these. So let's see what we have in that. So here's our author letter for Incendiary. Look at that cover art on the back there. And our cover difference. Okay, so that is the original cover, and then here's what our cover looks like. So let's take a look at our spoiler card now that I've got everything out of here. Tempted to hang art prints up on your fridge? Use this gorgeous wooden magnet created by Juniper and Ivy Designs that features an empowering quote from the Bone season. Save the turtles in style with this stainless steel straw set featuring an Ember and the Ashes inspired canvas bag designed by Paperback Bones. Heart of iron? Yes. Hands of iron? Not so much. Little Inklings Design created this set of pot holders to add a bit of bookishness to your kitchen. What I like about them is they look like they will match very well with the tea towel that they've already sent us. Place these vinyl stickers on your water bottles, notebooks, and anywhere else that you could use a reminder to keep up the good fight. Designed by Nerdy Ink, these stickers feature rebellious quotes from Margaret Atwood, Neil Shusterman, Caroline Caldwell, and Marie Rutkowski. Ariel Slammet Rise Witchy is a story about choosing your own destiny and channeling your own magic, even with a whole kingdom against you. Our exclusive edition of this new graphic novel from Oni Press features an exclusive cover that complements the beautifully original art style within its pages. That was book 1. Set in a lushly drawn world inspired by Inquisition-era Spain, Zoraida Cordova's Incendiary is an epic tale of love and revenge, perfect for fans of Sabaa Tahir and Sarah J. Maas. We hope that you love reading about deadly royal court intrigue and magic inside our signed exclusive edition, which features a unique cover and includes an author letter to our subscribers as well. We worked with Penny Slug Design to create this month's enamel pin. The design is inspired by the unique memory-holding almond stone featured in Incendiary. It's super cute. All right, so that is our June box. I can't wait to read this. This is going to be one of my books for my Hogsmeade readathon, because it is the book that I have most recently received an owl post. So I can't wait to dig into this. Actually, I guess I could read both of them, and it's like a fatty too. Like, check this out. It looks like it's 450 pages. Nice. Big juicy one. And it's a 2-book month. Super exciting. All right. Thanks for stopping by.